Hey guys, Credible Crypto here. Wanted to make a video update. It's been about a week since my last update, so I wanted to talk about how we progressed since that last update and what I'm seeing here. Just a general market update. Not going to talk about anything too specific, mainly Bitcoin, a little bit about Ethereum, but that's about it. So last week, guys, we were right about here, consolidating in what I believed was a fourth wave of five. And I said that I would expect one more push up into the 3900s and that I believe that this was a good area to short. So since then, we did get that push up to the 3900s, and we did reject off of it. However, we did not reject. I was expecting a more of an impulsive move after the rejection, and we got more of a sideways move after the rejection. So this is where the update really comes in. So if you recall from our last video, guys, I proposed three scenarios. All right. The first was that we were making a sort of a WXY into our demand zone, right? That was the first scenario, which is the one that I was leaning towards the most of the three. The second scenario was that we had completed our three-wave move here. We had completed our three-wave move, sorry, not here, but here. Something like that. We completed our three-wave move after this five-wave impulsive move here. So we had our five-wave move here. And then we'd completed the correction, and we were starting another. Let me just hide these guys real quick, try to make the chart a little bit more clear. And then we were starting another impulsive move to the upside with this was our five-wave move was our first leg up. Then we got our second, a third, a fourth, or fifth, and we continue higher. So that was the bullish scenario. And then the ultra bearish scenario, which I said was the least likely of the three, which was that this five waves up completed our C leg, and we were now making a five-wave move to the downside, and that would be a expecting a strong impulsive drop from where we were rejecting in the 3900s, and that would drop us down right through this demand zone to make new lows. So this scenario I said was the least likely, and I still think it's the least likely of them all. The scenario that I was leaning towards personally in that video was that we were making a WXY into my demand zone. And then the third scenario was, again, the bullish scenario that had us having already completed this leg, and then we were starting, again, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So today I'm going to talk about those scenarios and one more scenario that I see as a possibility based on the price action development. So what we were expecting, guys, after this rejection, which we did get, I was expecting a more impulsive move to the downside, right? Into our demand zone is what I was expecting, right? So something like what we saw here, but coming from here, something like that, drop into our demand zone. Then I was looking along this area. Instead of an impulsive drop, we got more of a, as you guys can see, a choppy sideways movement. And we tapped this area that I had marked out a couple of times, but we've maintained it. And we don't seem to be really dropping the way I'd like to see us drop into our demand zone for that count that I had. So now I'm seeing one more possibility that I'd like to bring to everyone's attention, and that is that we are forming a larger flat here. So something like this. And the reasoning for this is that I see a three-leg move down here, right? And then we see a first A leg, that five-way move to the upside. Then we see a bunch of chop, right? So just like we saw this impulsive move, chop, and then another somewhat impulsive move, I'm seeing an impulsive move, chop, and then if this is a flat correction, we'd expect another impulsive move to the upside here, right? And so far, the fib ratios work out pretty well. If we take the length of this first leg up, projected from the lows of the second leg, we get like a 1.23 extension to hit this target, right? So this would be expecting a regular flat. And for those who are not too familiar with Elliott wave and the corrections, a regular flat basically looks like this. With the second wave, let me change that, actually it should be an ABC. So something like this with the B leg. The idea is that the B leg doesn't quite get over the top of this A leg, and the C leg goes below the start of the B leg. So in this case, the B leg, which would be this one here, again, it's made up of three subwaves. So let me just draw that out real quick. So this A is made up of three smaller subwaves. The B is made up of three smaller subwaves. And then the C is actually made up of a five-wave move to the downside. So the C would be actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me just change the color of these so it's clear that these are the subwaves. And there you go. So with a flat correction, like what this could possibly be is, again, a 3-leg move to the downside, as we see here, and then we'd expect another 1, 2, 3-leg move to the upside, which looks to be shaping up right here like that, right? And then we'd expect this to conclude with a 5-wave move to the downside that ends below this low right here, which gives us a perfect move into our demand zone. So this is an order block up here. It's how I targeted it. So if this is a flat correction, then it looks like it's very viable as a regular flat, right? There's another possibility, and that is that we could break up above this level on the X wave, and then if we come down from there, if we eject from there, then that would give us either a expanded flat or a running flat. Expanded flats look like this, where the B wave ends above the A wave, and then we come down to make lower, to go below here first for our C wave, and then a running flat would be where the B still ends above the A wave, but the C wave doesn't quite make it down below this low here, right? So those are the possibilities that I'm seeing now, the additional possibilities that I'm seeing now. Keeping in mind that with all this, guys, my ultimate target here in the bigger picture, and I haven't talked about this in a while because we've been so focused on the intraday moves, but my ultimate target here, guys, is still this green box between 4.3 to 4.5K, right? So everything that I'm talking about now, all these targets that I'm talking about, 4.1K, the demand zone, these are all shorter term targets, right? Ultimately, my goal is to see us reach 4.3 to 4.5K for this move, whatever it may be, before we make a larger move to the downside, right? So keep that in mind, guys. When I talk about targets right now in my weekly updates, I'm talking about intermediate targets, and ultimately I'm still looking for 4.3 to 4.5K. And how that will arise pretty much is we have this impulsive, what looks to be an impulsive move to the upside, and once we finish this flat, if it is a flat that I think is occurring, I would ultimately expect then another 5-wave move, for example, that would take us ultimately to this green zone, right? So don't forget that ultimately we're looking for this area, but I'm just talking about what's happening in the intermediate right now. But ultimately, after we hit this demand zone, I'm looking for a move higher. Let's change the color to make this look a little bit nicer. There, if that makes sense. So we have one leg. This looks like I'm hoping it's a flat correction, and then I think I'm looking for another leg to the upside. So ultimately, I'm still looking along the demand zone, guys. That hasn't changed, but now I'm seeing a possibility of, instead of us going A, B, C into our demand zone, we could be going A, B, C into our demand zone. Again, the other possibility is that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in which case we'll rip through this level, this 4.1K level, and go straight to our 4.3 to 4.5K level. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Leaning bullish, so I do have alt exposure. The only thing is, because of this chop, I'm still not sure if we're going to make this move to the upside. So really what I'm looking for right now is to wait and see if we make a move to the upside. If we make a move to 4.1K, I want to see how we react there. If we reject, I may look to short down into our demand zone, or if we bust through it, I'll look to target to short in this 4.3 to 4.5K zone, possibly. And then alternatively, if we just drop down from here, I'm still looking along this 3.5 to 3.6K area. If we go up here and we tap here, and then we start coming down again, I'm still looking again to long this demand zone. So this was just an update, guys, a short little update to talk about where we are now from my last weekly update, when we were waiting for a move into our supply zone, which we ended up getting and rejecting from. As you can see, we're getting tons of wicks everywhere. We got a massive wick today that went up and tapped our supply zone. Actually, did it go up or down first? We don't even know. It happened in 15 minutes or like a half an hour. Okay, so we did go up first, tapped our supply zone, then went down and tapped this zone that we tapped earlier, and then came right back up to where we were, and now we're consolidating again. So basically there's lots of chop, really easy to get stopped out in situations like this, and so I'm not playing it because I'm afraid of getting stopped out with my stops if I'm playing up or down right here. So I'm just kind of waiting to see where we go from here. But I wanted to make this update to show you guys that my target of 4.3 to 4.5K is still on the table. Again, as long as we hold this demand zone, I am bullish for the midterm, as long as we hold this zone. I'm not expecting new lows until we hit 4.3 to 4.5K, unless we lose this demand zone. And I wanted to make that clear because I've been saying this for weeks now, but in the intraday I've been talking more about intermediate targets, and some may have forgotten where my bias stands in this midterm, and that bias is still to the upside. if it wasn't clear already. And again, demand zone holds, looking for 4.3 to 4.5K. In the intermediate, I'm looking at now, again, a possibility for this flat to form, which is my ideal scenario. I would love to see that happen because it'd give us lots of opportunities to short in this area for a nice short, and to long in this area for a beautiful long. Alternatively, we could just fall down here, again, a long, but alternatively, we could just be going up from here, and then I'd be looking to make a move in this area here. That's all I have for you guys today. I wanted to just update that. I think Ethereum, let's talk about Ethereum real quick. Ethereum moving up from this consolidation, which is a bullish sign, again tapping right below our 134 area, this resistance zone. But same situation for Ethereum. It does look a little bit different. Ethereum we have this impulsive move, and then we have a choppy grind down. Actually, yeah, Ethereum looks pretty much the same. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then I'm expecting a third to the upside. Ethereum looks a little bit more clear than Bitcoin. Again, not looking to long because of these choppy wicks, but Ethereum does look like it's ready for a move to the upside based on this impulsive move and then the slow grinding action to the downside. So I do think that Ethereum looks good for a move to the upside, and that move to the upside could take us as high as around 160, would be the equivalent level that we're seeing for Ethereum on Bitcoin. So if Ethereum does head up here, I'd be looking to, of course, we have to break past 147 first, but if we do, then I'd be looking for a move to about 160. So let me highlight that out there. And then ideally, we want to see a rejection off of 160 and then a move back down into this area right here, which is about 115 to 124. That would be ideal. Again, for Ethereum, also made a clear 5-wave move to the upside, a little bit more clear than Bitcoin, in fact. This looks like a nice, beautiful 5. And then again, Ethereum, we could also have already corrected down here with this 3-wave move to form ABC, and this 5-wave move could have actually been the start of a larger impulsive move to the upside. So that's something we have to keep in mind, right? Ultimately, this next move, which I think will be up, depending on how we move up, could tell us if we're seeing a 3rd wave, 5 waves, or if we are seeing a C wave of a 3-wave move, which would indicate further downside after, right? So same exact situation as Bitcoin. On Ethereum, it just looks a little bit nicer actually than Bitcoin does. But yeah, basically bias to the upside, and I'm exposed to that bias through altcoins, not exposed to it on Bitcoin or Ethereum until we get some more clarity with this chop. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, share the content with your friends, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and stay tuned for the next one. All right, thanks.